see when you actually go ahead and record it, and then I will begin.
Hey.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Looks like we have about 13 people on. So I'm going to get going since for time purposes. So I'm Zach Zippe. I'm the Senior Director of Sales for Culis's Government Division. I met some of you all last week. Thank you for your attendance and following along on the demo. It'll be similar today, but I like to use different websites each time and talk through different things. I'm going to be very high level today since a lot of you, Culis is new to you and you don't know what we are, who we do, what we do, some of the clients we work with, all that different kind of stuff. So I'm going to start way from the beginning. Just a kind of brief agenda. I'm going to talk about our company, what we do, where we're from, some of the clients we work with. Then I'm going to switch gears and talk about how your clients or citizens can get in line remotely. Then I'm going to switch over and talk about the staff interface and the staff side, how they see clients in line, how they can summon them and get them in through the different building, into the different floors, 3rd, 4th, 7th, whichever floors you're managing at each location. And then I'm going to shift over to reporting and analytics, which should be very important to you as a state government. And then I will switch over to Q&A at the end. And all that should take 45 minutes or less, including most likely the question and answer. Like I said, there's different ways to ask the questions. There's a chat feature. You can type it in if you don't want to talk, and we'll get to those at the end, or you can hold them all, jot them down, and ask questions at the end. So it looks like we have about 50 minutes till the top of the hour, which should be plenty of time holding all the questions to the end. So what is Culis? So Culis is an appointment and queue management vendor. And why were we created? So everyone's had the nightmare of going to a local DMV, holding a paper ticket, sitting in a waiting room for hours, not knowing how long the wait is. And we knew at Culis here in the US, there had to be a better way. That was about 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. Also, the theme park experience. That was another thing my CEO had thought about when he created this about 12 years ago. So what we did was we thought, let's change the way people wait in line. And that's been our motto ever since. So what we do is we do what's known as appointments. So everyone's had like a doctor's appointment or dentist appointment, where ours functions a little bit differently. People can get in line, schedule an appointment for a location, a time, a place, a resource, all the way down to that level into the future. As well as what we're really good at is the virtual interactive queuing is what we call it. So putting people in line through either an application, like you can see on the screen, to our 2 different mobile apps people can download, getting in line remotely through a text message, or getting in line remotely through a website. And I'm going to go through all those in detail. Why is it bigger and better than ever? COVID-19 has affected everyone. I live out in Oregon. It's even affected us. I used to live in Florida. Whew, brutal down there, especially right now. Lots of friends, family, everyone that's trying to stay safe. We are the perfect COVID-19 solution, the perfect social distancing solution. We used to implement maybe 1 new client every 2 or 3 days. We're implementing a new US-based client every single day. Whether it's a little tiny urgent care or it's a big state government out in California like the Franchise Tax Board or the Tax and Fee Administration, or a DMV or a tax office or Consumer Affairs. Dorothy can kind of walk you through. We work with Bergen County. We work with Rensselaer County. Lots of different, city of Yonkers, lots of different areas and locations nearby you as well. I'm going to talk through the distancing and why it's important. No one typically has a huge lobby nowadays where you can 6 feet distance people, and you're in a very kind of compact, condensed arena, of where you guys live and how you service your clientele. So how do we do all this? We do it through what's known as cloud-based services. So it's very scalable, it's reliable, it's redundant. We're working towards high availability, all those great things about deploying remotely. We don't have to physically come on site. We did that with Montgomery County in Maryland for the HHS and services we've worked with for years and years. But we don't have to these days. We can do all of our initial kickoff calls, our merchant questionnaires, even our training can be video training with a live human over Zoom and all that type of stuff. So we can do all that remotely and deploy remotely nowadays, which is really, really great. We don't have to have the insurances and liabilities and all that. If we need to come back and do on-site, the great thing is Dorothy's there locally with her group, and we've worked with her for a number of years in the Northeast US. We are based as an organization out of California. Not great right now. Everyone's pretty much worked remotely for almost 5 months, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. Our company's based out of Pasadena in LA. We've actually found that working from home, the ROI has gone up for our employees, which is really great for our KPIs. But we are seeing and servicing more clients and working towards more deployments, which is also great for our organization. We only focus on US and Canadian clients. That's a huge, huge factor for you guys. We have all of our employees here in the States, all of our, everything from, the face of the company, like myself, which is frontline sales and marketing, to our implementation folks, which are based in Denver. We also have staffing and tech support people in Philadelphia, in Atlanta, in the East Coast, pretty much everywhere as far as that goes as well. So to talk a little bit about how we do it and why we do it, I talked about the cloud-based interface. We use Amazon, so AWS, for our deployments. All of our deployments are cloud-based. We also do everything as web-based services. So when we talk about web-based services, your individual client, your client login would look something like this. And what I mean by that is each floor and each user on your side, the staff user, would have a particular login window. You choose like your floor first, your location, where you're at, you'd save that, and all of your information would deploy on the screen based on a web-based interface. So cloud-based into web interfaces, which you can have as many as you need. And then the best part about our solution as well is it's off-the-shelf hardware. So we don't require you any specific type of hardware. If you want a kiosk, great, we can provide it. If you don't, that's even better. A lot of our deployments in the last 4 or 5 months have been touchless or hardware-free, as I call it. Most of them are just deployed remotely as technology solutions, which typically we can do even quicker than having to do installation of hardware on-site type of things as well. And then lastly, we don't charge as a model for text messages, appointments, whatnot, but you'll be getting all that information from Dorothy in the coming weeks. So let me switch over to how the customer can get in line. Instead of the old traditional old-fashioned way of just walking in, parking, walking in, go to a lobby, saying, hey, I'm here to renew my personal business license for my bar or whatever it might be, or hair salon. You would set this up remotely. So one of the different ways is you can get in line or schedule an appointment through an application. So Qless has some of the best apps in the industry. If you look, really great ratings, lots of ratings. These ratings keep going up weekly. 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were at like 4,100. Now we're at 4,500. That's a lot. It just shows that us working with big vendors like Walmart, Office Depot, Office Max, State of Michigan, Dow Chemical Group, all these big, big companies that we work with currently are pushing our apps forward and pushing the ratings. You can see it's 4.9 out of 5 stars, which is up there with Yelp and Spotify and all those, really, really great apps that we use daily. So you download the app. It's free for your consumer. We just push it along. iOS or Android. Highly recommend downloading it. The reason why is I can't name all of our clients near you, but you might download it and take a look at it and say, oh, I knew someone at Cape Cod Medical Center, or I knew someone at City of Yonkers, or these other various agencies that we work with. You might know people that work there and can chat with them about Qless. So what happened is it's going to then default to places near you geographically, mileage-wise, put those in order. You would then find where you want to go, click on it. Then also, or you could type it in, of course, if you want to go Bergen County, Rensselaer, whatever it is. And then you click your services, and then it will default to your services. Your services are like what you need to go in for. What are you actually trying to do? A queue or service. So I need to go to Douglas County Treasurer and go and renew my motor vehicle and taxes. So I would then either click an appointment or join the line now. If I join the line now, Joining the line now would give me an estimate, this is for same day service, of how many people are in line and what the wait time is. The reason this is important is if I had a 30-minute wait, I would get in line from home, stay there until I was texted to come to the location. So at maybe a 15-minute mark, hey, you live 5 minutes from the building, time to get in your car, drive over, and then wait in the parking lot until I'm summoned. So as you're then summoned, it would say you're now being summoned to the 3rd floor at window 5. Don't mind the train in the background. Apologize. So once you get to there, at that point, you'd either join for today or make an appointment. And then your service would then default and pop up your location, the line, the phone number, the mileage, etc. And then finally, you would confirm to get in line. So the app's really easy. You could download the iOS or Android, depending on if you have Google or Apple phone. You don't have to download an app. If you have a smartphone with a web browser, like I have the iPhone 8, you can click on the Safari, you could then pull up and you could type in the URL of the join the line, and you could go through mobile or web responsive and get in line that way as well. So if you're like, oh, I only come once a year, I don't need an app, you could do it that way as well if you're on your mobile phone. Perfectly fine. The other different ways are you can get in line through a website. So your Consumer Affairs of New Jersey website could have links in it like this to get in line. This is the most used option. And the reason being is because most people, and I say most, meaning maybe more than 50% of people, when they want to go somewhere, they typically find the person's website and they would look at it and say, okay, what do I need to bring with me? Do I need my license? Do I need my old one? Do I need insurance? What do I need to bring with me? Then you would realize, oh, wait, I could join the line remotely and either schedule an appointment or get in line. So if I want to go to the permit office or the public health office for City of El Paso, you can click on this link and it would then default over to their website. And on this website, it would give you ahead of time the wait times and how many people are in line. This is called an API integration. So this is something that's really simple that we can help you embed in your website if that's something you wanted to do. Today, I'm just giving the full overview of options. And I show live websites to show you guys we've done it. And then if you decide, well, there's only 2 people in line, it's about an hour, I'll place myself in line. Sure. So this is what's called our home kiosk. You can get in line from home or elsewhere. And it would start by asking information. So first name, last name, phone number. After you do that, it would then ask, well, what service, what queue are you coming in for? Is this community care, immunization, et cetera, et cetera. Once you decide, and this is mostly appointments, what you're doing, you click on it and there would be the sub-service. So what's this really for? Treatment, family, testing. Once you do that, then you would default to the next available appointments. So this is different than same day service. This is a module called appointments. Appointments are for times, dates, locations, or even resources in the future. That didn't work for you? August 12th works for me. So that's a couple of weeks out, maybe 3 weeks out. And then you can choose the time in which you want to go. After you get in line or choose your location, you have to put in an email. It's optional, but we recommend it. For appointments, we recommend email and or phone number because you're going to get an email confirmation with a confirmation code and a text message confirmation. With same day service, getting in line from your phone, whether it's a text, whether it's an app, whether it's a web interface, you're just going to get in line from your phone number. Just really simple, anonymous phone number. And then you're going to be in line sequentially from that. So that's El Paso's. I love their website. It's great. Houston Health Department, another very large city, 1 million+ people. El Paso is like 600,000. They have a really nice website and they talk about schedule an appointment as well. I like to show this one because it's very in-depth. So they have lots of literature online that says if you want to make an appointment, don't make one for online pickup. Also, don't make one for paternity appointment or whatnot. Call this number. And then who's applying for the record? So it's me that's applying for my record. And then you hit next. And then they pre-screen their clients. I don't know if you guys would ever think about doing this, but pre-screening meaning they are making the clients say yes to information before they come in so that they can turn them away if they actually, quote unquote, didn't do this themselves. So is your application filled out? Yes. Are you qualified? Yes. Do you have proper ID? Can you pay for this service? You know, life isn't free. So getting a birth certificate, death certificate, it costs money. Did it occur more than 2 weeks ago, et cetera? So once you get through all this, they even want to know state ID information. So that's fine. You can put that in because they want to know who's coming in, and because birth and death certificates only typically parents or step parents can actually get access to that. And then they're going to ask the service. So this is where you guys have to differentiate and start thinking about what floors offer what services for what departments, and start, I call it like a waterfall or a tier fall. Basically, it's what department and then what services are underneath that, what sub queues are underneath that. You might have multiple, or it might be really simple. So, and start thinking about that. And then it's also what employees can service what types of information and what services. So once I chose like a service, once again, it goes to appointments. So it would give you the time, the date, etc. So, so that's City of Houston, that's City of El Paso. We also have Orange County tax collector, another very large county in Florida, over 1 million people. And I'm showing you very large ones because your area is large in population as well. So if I chose, like, I want to go to the mall location, schedule appointment, and then it would also pull up their information. This one looks very similar to El Paso and as well. So, but we also offer different languages. English and Spanish is standard, something that we offer. We're a Southern California company, so we don't charge for Spanish. It's just included. Any other additional language would be an additional cost. So, so talked about the mobile apps, different ones. Android's in English and Spanish. iOS is just English. We have a Navy-wide contract that's rolling out, hopefully globally. We're working on that. I've been working on that for a long time. That's going to push our apps way forward, which is really, really exciting as well. So lastly, one other city out west in San Francisco, east of there, they talk about making appointments, but you can also text to get in line, or you can do on-site. So if you guys did want a kiosk on-site, you have to be a little careful about these days with wiping them down and et cetera, ADA compatibility, in which we have all that. You can text to get in queue remotely. Texting means there would just be a specific number, like whatever the phone number is, and then a text code. So like their text code is CEDWC, and then it would text back, what queue do you want to join? So are you joining the business license queue? Are you joining, certification queue, et cetera, So all these different ways to get in line remotely, the apps, the web responsive, the mobile responsive, the texting to get in line. Now, keep in mind, it's a lot of information today. Some of you can't see it and you're going to be rewatching this. Just kind of think through all the different scenarios of how you do it now versus what you envision, whether it's appointment, same day service. You don't have to offer all these. We're here to talk you through and what makes sense, what we've done for other state departments and big counties as well. And you can actually make it different per floor or department. You don't have to offer all these services, as well as appointments versus walk-ins. Some of the quick services each day are just walk-in, just same thing. When I say that, I mean they can still get in line remote and wait remote with the text, but wouldn't have appointment capability. So that's the customer side. That's what we do, how we do it, where we're from. The staff side, which I'm going to transition over to now, looks like this. So this is what an online kiosk or on-site or remote kiosk could look like. Let's say that Dorothy's coming in for business, and I'll just put in a phone number for her. And let's say she wants to join code compliance. She also could join multiple lines as well, if that's something that is applicable at your location. People can join multiple location or multiple services at a physical location. And then we'd hit next and she would be in line. It could be as simple as that. Phone number, name, don't have to have the name option. That's optional as well. Now, the tricky part is everyone's pretty much waiting remotely in the last 6 months. People used to come in and wait in a physical lobby. So we had what's known as the Qless Q-Stick monitor, which we use in Montgomery County. I think we use it at Bergen County. I mean, there's lots of different areas we use it at. People would come in and they would have a 20-minute wait, and they'd still wait in the waiting room, but they would be texted or it would be on a screen. This can be used if you have a very large lobby and you can partition people out and keep them safe. Basically, it is a computer stick plugged into a TV and the HDMI port, and it will show who's in line for what services. If someone does walk in, they don't make an appointment, they're walk direct, don't get in line remote, you can put them in by their name and have them go sit over, in the corner, to stay safe and whatnot, and they could be in line by their phone, by their name. Most often, they're in line anonymously by the last 4 digits of their phone number, and they get a wait time. And what would happen is when your staff is ready to see the next person, instead of trying to walk out to the lobby, see them, find them, they literally just hit summon customer. It would then ping the monitor, and essentially it would say next customer to window 3, or now serving 9384 to window 3, and it would ping that monitor. It will be in English. It could be in Spanish if you want it. It would announce and tell them what to do, where to go. Keep in mind, Beverly is already getting this text message as well that's scripted to tell her where to go and what to do. So then she arrives up at the window. You're now serving her. When you're done with the service, you end the service and move on. So the most simplistic way is to, I'll show it again, summon. That would ping their phone, tell them where to go, where to walk to. You arrive them when they walk up to you. Hi, Jerry, good to see you. And then when you're done, you end the service. So the most simple way is summon, arrive, end. There's lots of intricacies in here. You can summon a customer. If they don't show up, you can move on to the next customer. So we moved on to Dorothy. Dorothy was right there, ready for service. We arrived her. Let's say that Dorothy forgot something in the car. You can re-enter her back into the same queue, co-compliance, as expired, and she would go down here and you would wait for her to come back. So then when she come back, you can then actually arrive her back up and say, hey, I see you're back. Let's take care of that service. I know you forgot your license in the car and you went out and got it real fast. So a lot of different intricacies that we could do with this. We've worked with big state departments. We've worked with big companies. So our interface is all HTML5 compatible. It works with all the 3 major browsers, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Chrome, with no, extensions or anything needed. And essentially all the different configurations that we can do in the system is pretty robust as far as that goes. So everything from having mostly unlimited queues on the left side. You can have, most clients that I see are 8 to 15 queues. Keep in mind, you might have more than that, but what would happen is you might have a drop down for a person to log in under the settings where it says like floor 7, and then they go to their department, or floor 3 and they go to their department. So what we do is we take this interface, it's skill set based and role based. So Dorothy would have a particular login in which she could only see, say, code compliance. This is it. She only works on code compliance, or she works on code compliance and building and safety. So we have it built out to where the individual user experience is their own. And if there's a manager that needs to see all the different queues and all the different services, they can do that. So it's very, very easy. This is very simple click functionality over here where you can undo or only see the different queues you want. So if I wanted to see only permits, I can look at permits. If I don't like this on the left side of the screen, I can get rid of it. If I need to bring it back, I click over here and bring it back. So, and then when I'm ready to summon, I summon a customer that easily. So there's also a list view as well. So if you want to see people that you've arrived throughout the day, you can click here. People that are expired is on the front page. People that are queued are down here as well. This isn't as common to use as the main interface because the buttons are just easier to see and to use and to manage out of here as well. This is known as a service result at the end of a service. What actually happened with the service? So that would be responsibility of the staff member. So everything from the user experience on the other side, to them waiting safely, to them getting summoned by text and walking into where they need to go with a scripted SMS text, to the staff member logging in on their floor, their department, their services, to summoning a client, to ending the client. You can transfer different clients around. The interfaces are unlimited, so you can have as many users as you need, as many texts, as many appointments. There is no up charges or anything for that type of stuff. It's just flat fees. So So that's everything from the QList side, from the staff side, from the user side. I am going to flip over to reporting very quickly, and then live dashboards, and then we can move on to questions, which I'm sure there's probably a bunch of those. So two types of reporting we offer. We offer standard historical reporting. So this historical reporting is more for tracking data, looking at trends, looking at patterns. You can then export all this data to a CSV or XML file, or you can use an API, which we offer. We have over 125 standard APIs. They're REST-based APIs in which you can subscribe to and manage, or you can just run standard custom or configured reports out of the box. It defaults to everything. So if you have multiple floors, multiple locations, you have to uncheck and only look at the locations or location you want to see. In the queues in which you want to see. Service result means a completed or not completed transaction. Transaction types are underneath the queues or services. So like you have a queue, and then underneath that you have the type of, we call them like transaction types. And then you have people, how they got in line. So did you have only appointments? Did you have everything? Did you have text in? Do you have a home kiosk? We don't offer widget anymore. The app to get in line that way. So lots of different things as well. And then finally, customer type, got in line with or without a phone. So the definition of the report's up here. Basically, this report, outcome by date, it tells you how many customers you arrived per hour, per day, per week, per month, per year. So the granularity is at the bottom. So you'd look at, like, if you want to look at one day, you look at 1 week, then 1 day, then you can go over and look, and you can mess around with the granularity if you want. So it's just look at the last 3 days. And you can look at the data table, is what I prefer to do over the chart. You had arrived or served this many people per day. If that's not enough information for you, you can go down to hourly. Hourly, you definitely want to just categorize by 1 day. So today's the 23rd, so let's look at just the 22nd. And then I call this stacking the data table. Then here you are, how many people you saw per hour from 8 to 4. So you were not really busy, then slammed, then not busy, and then really slammed over lunch as well. So unique customer that lets me use their data as kind of an example. So you're able to see that. You're also able to see if people left, they hit L to leave the line, or people that no-showed for appointments. Why did they no-show? After they got a confirmation, and then 24 hours before they got another one, and then an hour before they got one, and they never canceled, and then they didn't show up, you can figure out why. Why do we have that many no-shows? So we can kind of adjust and remove the messaging and try to figure that out as well. But that would only be for appointments. If you want to go back to the main interface, you just click on QList. Everything from wait times, walk times, delay times, return customers by phone number, longest queue length. The neat ones really are these three: outcomes by date and wait, service wait, transactions, how many by employee and how long, and then also by queue, and then the duration by employee as well. So these are mostly like staff performance reports, and then by queue as well. So if you don't have data now, this will be too much for you. And we'll teach you all this in the training sessions, the live training sessions we do with managers and then with users as well. So let's flip over. That was historical. It's unlimited historical. It goes all the way back to 2008, which is a lot of data. You don't have to have it for that long if you don't want to. The dashboard is a live view, and my customers with multiple floors, multiple locations love this. They couldn't live without it. So this is a live dashboard in real time of what's going on at your location or locations. So this customer has, I think, 9 locations, yep, including their testing and training locations. And what this would do is, this is a summary in real time of all the locations divided by. So you'll see these numbers move in real time. So 1525 will move either up or down based on what's going on. This serving now, same thing. How many people are being served? How many served already today? So yep, they were moved. And then no shows for appointments if you have those appointment data. Then you go down to the locations. So if I move these carrots back up, you can see the downtown location, the mall location, Arkona, Sand Lake. So you have all the different locations, and you're able to then outlay all this information. At the top, it gives you all that same information, but this is per location now. And then it goes to where employee view is crucial. So you're able to view every day, all day long, by classifier, which is window, or by employee alphabetically, what's going on with the employees. So where they're logged in, what the employee's name is, what the median transaction time for that employee is to the minute of that day, any idle time. Serving is yes with a client, 1, 0 is not with a client. They're either on idle time or logged off. How many people they've served today as well. So you're able to, if you're in this meeting, you can have a tablet up and see exactly what's going on in your lobbies without having to be there. So it's crucial. This is something we built for a 78 location DMV, in which they sat in a capital city and could not tell what was going on in the other locations. So, and then wait history trends, longest wait time of the day, and then finally the queue level. So you have your queue level of forecast, waiting, serving, serve today, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then there is actually a wait time threshold alert already. So what this means is if you turn this button on, it will actually, a manager administrator can put in their phone number. They'll get an SMS when the median transaction in the queue exceeds historical values in the last, I think, 30 days, which means kind of an uh-oh moment. Go up here, put in your settings, put in your phone number, and then after you put in that phone number, hit submit, and then you get those text messages. And it automatically notifies you, your wait time alert for this transaction is above what the norm is the last 30 days. So then if you're in a meeting, you know, uh-oh, we have more people waited than usual or less employees here or whatnot. So, and then lastly, we also have an exit SMS alert. So the exit SMS survey can be done at the end of an appointment or a queue management that goes to everyone that got in line by a text. And it can be a link to like SurveyMonkey or whatever you use and basically go out and ask quantifiable questions. So how is your service level today, 1 through 7? How is your waiting experience, 1 through 7? So lots of really cool things to reiterate, and then we'll move on to Q&A. QList, US-based organization, all of our staff, support services, development, implementation, everything's here in the US. Everything's cloud-based, web-based, off-the-shelf hardware. We don't force hardware on you guys. It's an option, and we can go through that. And then everything from the staff side, the client side, getting in line remotely or on site, and then the back end being historical reporting, live dashboards. That's mostly everything. At this point, I'll turn it over to Dorothy. I'll turn it over to the Consumer Affairs team for questions, comments, and we'll go from there. So thanks for your attention.
Thanks, Zach. This is Dorothy. Does anybody have any questions? Hello?
Hey, Anne Mary, Consumer Affairs team. I'm sure you guys must have questions. So why don't you just pop in with questions?
Perfect. So I don't see any on the chat at all. So if anybody has any verbal questions, feel free to ask them now.
Okay, well, I think I don't see anybody with any questions. Anne Mary, is there anything that you wanted to mention?
So let me just double back with everybody. So there isn't, I think Jessica's on, Howard, Diana. Do you guys have any questions on what you heard? And or saw?
Let me unmute so people
Yes.
can ask.
Oh.
I think.
There we go.
Hello?
Okay, there we go.
That's better.
All right.
Diana, do you have a question?
Yes. So my question is, so you know that we have a lot of home improvement contractors that like to come into the building every single day. We try to accommodate them as best we can. I just want to make sure I get the basic lay of the land here. So it would be by appointment only, and these people, anybody who needs to come in, which I would hope to make, a couple of days a week, we would make appointments to meet each person. When we're ready to see them, they can either wait outside or in the lobby. We text them, they would come up, and then we would service them. Is that right?
So for the most part, yes, that is correct. Not necessarily appointment only. So that is an option. There is what's known as a same day service or queuing option in which people will line up sequentially remotely through just a text message, web interface, and not choose like a time and date to come in. They will just choose that I want to come in today and be seen as soon as possible. So a lot of people use that interchangeably with like, oh yeah, it's an appointment for today. Just different terminology, but yes.
Okay. All right.
And you can actually treat those as like you can take those contractors that come in every day and put them in like a different line. If those are people you always see, you can call it contractors or VIP or whatever you want to call it. To be politically correct. However you want to service them, if it's different, that's perfectly fine. You can definitely do that.
Yeah, they're pretty much they come in because they're in need of their registration either being reinstated or a new registration quickly because they have a job. So, I think that writing a script to make things work quicker and better would probably serve a good purpose in this type of situation for us. I mean, there are other business types that people come up, public movers, healthcare service firms, things like that. So we service a lot of people, and it could be done remotely. Is that right, Zach?
Correct.
As well.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part, everyone's going to want to sign in remotely, either same day or make an appointment. We can talk through that more detailed based on departments, whether or not appointments actually make sense or not. For quick transactions that you have lots of employees that you're trying to get people in through as quickly as possible, just same day service is fine. Then you have to decide whether you allow them to join through the app, through a website, through just a text. They come on site and you have a billboard in the front that says text into this number to get in line sequentially instead of waiting physically inside. There's lots of different ways that we work.
Okay.
Yeah, good question.
Okay.
Hey, it's Anne Mary. Can someone call from a landline? I know those are anachronistic and not many people have them, but in this area, some people do.
So we
could
don't
they
have,
call?
we don't actually have that feature anymore. We used to have
Okay.
what's called IVR, interactive voice, and it was a pre-recorded call in, phone in, and you press 1 to join this and 2 to join this. Less than 0.1% of our clients used it, and it was costing us money. So we had to dump it. But I mean, basically, even if someone has just a flip phone from Walmart, straight talk plan, really cheap, as long as they have texting to be able to text into queue, which is cheap, almost free these days, they can get in line that way. And you can help them on site as well to do that, or you can literally just put them in line. If Joe comes in and says, I don't have a phone, just put me in line, you can do that. You can put him in with an anonymous number or his name and just say,
So
hey,
how would you do that?
put someone in line just by their name? Yeah.
Yeah. So like let's say Joe comes in and Joe says, oh, I didn't realize I'll go out and get coffee because there's a Dunkin' Donuts around the corner.
Perfect.
How do we do that then?
So on the interface, you'll see this big blue button that says add customer. You literally just hit add customer, you skip the phone option, you put Joe Smith, and you say waiting at Dunkin' Donuts, be back soon. As notes,
That's really good.
hit add, and then there's Joe in the queue. So everyone can see this. Joe came in, no phone, waiting at Dunkin' Donuts, be back soon.
So let me ask you a question. So like at a place like ours where people come into the first floor and are then queued up to the 3rd or the 6th or the 7th floor, what we could do is have the person who's at the desk outside, when they walk in, say, you know what, we have this new system. We understand that you didn't see it on the web, but give me your phone number. I'll put you in line and I'll let you know. And if they want to wait, they can wait. But
That's
if they wanna
exactly the way.
Okay.
So until you have adoption over 50%,
Yes.
that's
Right.
exactly the way you should do it. That's perfect.
Okay. Okay.
But
And that
as
helps,
people start
that helps
coming
in
in
these
more
days
and
of
more.
social distancing because now they're because we already took away a lot of chairs in the lobby. So
Exactly.
they can say you can go back and wait in your car. Okay. Oh, I love
Once
that.
someone does that once, they'll never
Got
not
it.
get in line again because they're like, well, I could go to Dunkin' before. So, yep.
Right.
Question?
Right. Okay.
Can anybody
right.
hear me?
Yep.
Yes,
Can
we
people
hear
hear
you,
me?
Howard.
Okay,
We hear
great. Actually, that was a segue into the question I wanted to ask about. You mentioned until saturation, at least, I guess maybe it's the word.
Yep.
How long has it taken some of, say, like a city of, I think you mentioned El Paso or one of the larger cities for the uptake to meet a sort of threshold where most of the individuals are utilizing this app versus still getting hundreds of people that walk into Newark? And I think Newark is probably a little different than El Paso because we're obviously getting people from across the state versus just one city. And I'm sure you could publicize El Paso, publicize. I don't know how they did it, but I'm assuming they publicized it a lot to make people aware. It'll be a little bit more difficult for us to do so for an entire state.
Yeah, so the adoption rate's different based on a lot of factors. So based on whether you're in Florida or California or Montana, it all depends on age, demographics, poverty level. It depends on all kinds of stuff. Access to internet, access to smartphones. And we've seen it to where like the city of Las Vegas had 95% adoption in 30 days. I mean, younger city, everyone uses smartphones, is out and about. And then we have cities like city of Boca Raton, where they still don't have 50% buy-in of remote join. 50% still walk in. And it just depends. I would say in your area, it just depends on how much we can give you marketing material. You can publicize it. I think depending on how long your lines are and how good you guys are at kind of expressing when people come in for the first time, hey, this is the new way of business. This is how we're doing it, like it or not. This is what we're doing. It's going to keep everyone safe and keep COVID under control. And just basically, these are the different ways you can get in line and just, quote unquote, deal with it. But in a nicer manner, of course. But yeah, it's hard to guess on what the rate's going to be of adoption. But I would guess in a more technical city like you guys are in, as long as you can just kind of portray the value, people will buy in pretty quickly.
Right. I mean, the truth is, I don't think we have a ton of repeat customers. I think we have a lot of one-offs, and hopefully they resolve their issue within one or two times.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not necessarily true, Howard. We get the HICs who come in every year.
No,
Right, Diana?
Hello?
Am I right about that, Diana?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, but and I can only speak from experience from the board.
But for the most
do, but experience from the board, people want to have. They don't want to come back. They just want one time and they're done. Yeah, the HIC people might come in a lot, but board people they'd rather not come back 3 times to get their application process. I'm thinking of those issues.
Yeah, I think everybody would rather not come back 3 times. I don't think that's just to the boards. I think HICs as well. Unfortunately, this is why I said we need a script so that we can tell them in advance, this is what you need to bring if this is what you're doing, because that will save them time. Because a lot of times they'll come in, they'll want to pay by cash, or they won't have their insurance, and so things take longer. They have to come back. Setting it up in advance and telling them this is what you need, and then setting a time for them to come in, that's great. I think that's terrific. I think it'll work really well.
And I like the idea of what you said about marketing materials, because what I'm thinking of, and this is, getting way down, but I'm thinking of like big posters downstairs on the first floor, and then on the 3rd floor, the 6th floor, the 7th floor, here's what we're doing, this is what you need to do. So I think, and yes, it will be a learning curve, but it's a lot better than having people lined up.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Zach, this is Matt. So
Hey, Matt.
when you were referenced, talking about kiosks,
Mhm.
could we potentially say on our ground floor level where everybody comes in, we have like a couple tablets set up like against the wall for people to use the website to sort of get themselves in the queue themselves. So
Yep.
it's sort of a contactless.
Yep.
environment.
You can do that. You absolutely can. So really, we recommend like iPads or Windows devices, or you can do a full freestanding kiosk. really anything in between. It all depends on usage. So like you can get away with tablets if you see just a couple of hundred people a day and they're going between the tablets. The big issue you're going to have with self-service right now versus having someone actually key in people is you got to wipe them in between. Otherwise, someone's still going to have to be responsible in between clients if that's your methodology to clean them or wipe them or whatnot. So we're having a lot of people kind of staff an individual for the folks that do still walk in because they can educate them too. And then I think when all this thing starts to blow over as much as possible, then you can go back to more self-service options and redirect that person that was down there, the staff member, back to their real job or whatnot.
Sure. And then on the website questionnaire, do some of your customers who use that find that as a better tool to direct people so they can maybe potentially answer their question without having to come
100%.
in line?
Yep, 100%. The reason they asked or they can ask qualifying questions because if someone hits no to a question or can't answer it, it can say, please call this number for more information. Or we have what's known as like callback queues. You can join a queue remotely and be sequentially called back from an employee at your place. They can put in their name, their phone number, and their question. Hey, do I need to come in for this expired license or can I pay it online? So that will help keep people out of the building as well. So we're doing like callback queues as well. So yeah, they use it to redirect people for sure. Okay. Any other questions? I'm sure there will be some that come up. You can run them through Dorothy, and she can pass them along to me if you have other questions, comments, workflow type of questions, and then we can go from there. Appreciate everyone's attention and hour today.
That's super. Dorothy, if you can just send us when you have the recordings for those who want to go on, and I'm sure we will have more questions. And I appreciate your help and time, and I'm really excited about this. Fingers crossed.
Everybody today.
One quick question. Do you have any other state agencies, New Jersey state agencies that are utilizing this?
We don't unfortunately have state agencies.
I know you mentioned Bergen County.
Yeah, we do work with cities and counties in your your tri-area that we can give you that information. Unfortunately, we don't have a state agency in New Jersey that uses us yet.
But I can get you the name of the folks over at Bergen County so you can chat with them about how they're using it. And we also have numerous locations in Montgomery County and Maryland as well for the Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Well, everybody, thank you so much for your time today. I'll wrap up the recording. I'll get it out in the email today so you can review it. And my email and contact information will be there. So if you have any questions, just reach out.
Thank you so much, everybody.
You're welcome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Dorothy.